morning. A little food for thought before you go to work. And this is coming out of the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 4. And there is saying, those who delight in God's will have the desires of their heart fulfilled. So here God is telling us that if we delight in his laws and his will, and we follow what he says as a guide, which is in the Bible, then he's going to fulfill the desires of the things that we want. And those things have to be in line with his thinking. The world says, have fun, do what you want, don't worry about anybody else. It's your life. You're not accountable to nobody. But that's actually not true. We are accountable to the Creator. And the world will give you temporary satisfaction, but will sometimes leave your cup half empty. So you may be involved with many things, many people, and sometimes you're going from one thrill to another, or one adventure to another, or whatever it is that you're pursuing, but sometimes you're left empty. And it's because you don't have a relationship with God. You're relying on the external things that the world offers to fulfill your heart's desires, which really we weren't created to be independent from God. We were supposed to look to him for guidance, like children look to their parents for guidance. So it's the same thing. The world will offer you all the things at your disposal, kind of like the bad kids of the block. That's how Satan is. You know, like when you're a parent and you tell your child, listen, I don't really want you hanging out with little Johnny, because Johnny's a little baddie. He doesn't listen to his mother and father. So I don't really want you associating with that kid, because his habits are going to rub off on you. Well, it's the same thing with God. The desires of the world are influenced by Satan. So Satan is kind of like that little Johnny. He's the one you have to stay away from. He's the one that your father warned you about. And he wants you to stay clear from him, because when you don't listen, it's going to be ending in catastrophe somehow. There's always going to be something negative involved. Maybe not initially, but somehow at the end, there's going to be something negative when you have bad association, when you have yourself aligned with things other than God's will. It's going to be connecting you to the association that influences you to do other than what you should be doing. So delight in God's law is going to make you feel joyful, peaceful. You'll have discernment and wisdom. And he always admonishes us within the Bible, very similar text throughout the Bible, how we have to delight in his law, because he gives us the desires of our heart. Everything that we want comes out of here, out of our heart. And so we want to be influenced in our heart for the good. So delight in God's law, and he will do what he says he's going to do, which is to fulfill his promises to you, which is to give you things that make you happy, that make you joyful, that make you feel alive. Because the world has nothing to offer you. We have to live in it, obviously. But the things of the common man is not going to fulfill you long term in the end, because if they're not connected with God, there is no fulfillment. No human can fulfill that. Only God can fulfill those true feelings of joy, peace, and harmony, and a feeling of I belong, and I'm loved. All those things that humans crave. So delight in God's law. Don't delight in the world's law, because the world's law is lawless. I hope you have a good day. Share this with someone you know that may need to hear this.